Israel, the city of Masgate under siege. Foul forces are at work to bring the fine city of Masgate in the land of Hyboria under the boot of sorcery most foul. Jacob Hardtack, Lurkle Dwarven Miller reports.
It's horrible. Me windmiller just outside the town's all busted and smashed like. A hut with chicken feet if it please you, came a smashing down the lane all the way to the mining outpost. That really burns my biscuits.
But the fine city itself suffers as well, as we go live to the Merchant Row, where local blacksmith reports mysteries from the skies.
Some like it hot, and I like it really hot. But fireballs from the sky? No way. What's worse? Demons from the darkest plains of the abyss come crawling out. And they even attacked a defenseless old woman. And my collection of rare dragon scales has gone missing as well. Things like this never happened when we still worship the old gods, I tell you. All hail the unknowable aberrations from beyond. You know, like the beholder. An eye for an eye for an eye for an eye.
And even the upper echelon, the tippiest crust of society, is not safe. High Merchant Tez Bainwright, nephew of the recently disgraced Lord Loft Bainwright, describes trouble a-brewing, or should I say pooing. No, I really should.
Here we are, trying to have a simple soiree, when ragged sorcerers and gnomes and small-bladdered half-orcs crash our party. What's worse, not but a few days later, our top-notch facilities for making water turn out to be infested with some sort of feces-laden creature. It cost me close to half an hour of income. Now I know how the peasants feel. We'll just have to raise taxes to replace our toilets with gold.
And the docks fare no better as an entire ship comes to port. Not unusual, except it's a ship supposedly lost at sea, and it docked by taking out the docks. A massive sailing vessel from the mysterious Sand Swallow Sea has arrived. Can the king's crack adventurers take care of this threat? We asked Grand Duke Curis Vigilfist, and he had this to say.
Fear not, citizens of Masgate. Your true and valiant champion shall lay waste to this accursed threat. No matter how many lives the common folk must be sacrificed, I shall punch this threat until there's nothing more than fish paste upon the dusty docks. We won't be long. We have a party with the king to return to, and I have a particularly excellent plate of pudding I should hate to go off. Now, it's time to punch our way to justice. Ha!
That was awesome.
Yep.
Will our saviors save us? Find out in the next exciting episode of the Chafing Armor Podcast, episode 53, Punchy McDie Face. Welcome back to the Chafing Armor Podcast, and I hope you enjoyed this very unusual intro. And playing with us today is not, in fact, a common miller. It is James. James, tell everyone who you will actually be playing.
Hello, everybody. Hello. I'm going to be playing Pentanchellus, Sorcerer at Large, and Pretty Boy.
Pretty indeed. And the part of the blacksmith will not actually be played entirely today by Dare. It will be played by Dare, who is playing whom?
Howdy, y'all. I am Dare, and I am playing Tix Birchmanson, the gnome cleric who looks at everybody as other children.
And they very often act that way. And the voice of Tez you heard earlier was not an actual upper crust fancy lad. It was played by Izzy. Izzy, tell everyone who you will be playing today.
I'm playing Marezi Mugra, a half-orc barbarian who is pretty tall.
Sure is. And finally, with a most unexpected voice for Chorus Vigilfist
It's canon.
was Lee. Lee, tell everyone who you will be playing instead of Vigilfist.
Oh, but I really wanted to play the man. Okay. Hi. Hey, everybody. My name's Lee. I'm playing Osakai, the Shifter Ranger.
Fantastic. And instead of a long-winded recap, you can listen to that intro. The only thing I want y'all to know is that this massive, supposedly lost pirate ship has crashed through the docks right up to the land. Pinton and Tix were actually facing down with a figure who appeared on the top of the deck. It was the gentleman that y'all referred to as Punchy McBeardface, who you locked in the cells and then
Kind of left them there.
left there. Yeah, kind of left there. Now, to be fair, y'all were dealing with mysterious creatures, with sharkmen, and with an entire island of death, 3 hags, and a kraken. So you were very justifiably distracted. But he's back, and the last thing that you saw was his face begin to ripple. I would also like to say that Osokai and Morezi are both coming towards this area from different areas. So y'all have seen the ship crash, and you started to come forward, but both of you, as far as you know, are not yet visible. Also in front of Pinton and Tix are a group of adventurers who apparently have the leave of the king of Hyboria, who is led by one Grand Duke Chorus Vigilfist, who has promised to stop this slaying oncoming threat. Would anyone like to do anything?
Morezi just kind of sighs, puts her face in her hands, and knows that this is probably something related to her party, and halberd in hand, she heads towards the ship.
Absolutely. You make your way. Just so you know, Curus had headed off, one, to get himself cleaned after your poo-laden adventure that you all can hear later, that she had with the young straw-haired lad Curus. So you are on your own with just Aki. Osokai, is there anything that you would like to do?
Osakai is most likely relatively cautious. We've been through a lot, but still, a ship crashing through a dock. Probably going to try and keep to the shadows and keep an eye on things.
Before I say anything else, Pinton or Tix, is there anything that you would like to do?
You say his face is rippling.
Yes, and what happens at this moment is he smiles, and his grin becomes impossibly wide, plastic-like, as it grins up, nearly a foot wide, as his teeth seem to actually sharpen.
Want to know
And
how
he
I got
says-
these scars?
Exactly. I actually saw that movie recently. It doesn't really hold up. He smiles at all of you and says, "Well, me hearties, shall we have a dance?"
I immediately cast, as Tix always react this way when faced with somebody whose head is about to become a Pez opener. Will cast Protection from Evil on myself.
Absolutely. And as I often have done before, you all are at maximum health. You all have your spells and abilities back. Just again to mention, the reason I do that is not just because I am a super kind DM, though I am, of course, wonderful and awesome. It is because I prefer to keep the narrative moving forward, and I don't really want the narrative necessarily broken up by you all having
The
to...
death of characters.
Well, that, yes, without all your spells, you will die. But also that that you don't have to just stop and go, okay, well, we're going to sleep again. Okay, well, we're going to sleep again. Okay, well, we're going to sleep again. There will certainly be times where I do require that of you when it's makes sense in the narrative.
Right.
But right now, we need to keep things moving forward. So you're all healed up. You have all your spells, and you cast that on yourself, and you feel the protections surround you. Chorus Vigilfist, who is stout, he has somewhat run to fat, but he is still, you can tell there's a lot of muscle under there, and he holds up a gauntleted fist. And he says, "You have but one moment to leave, Mascate Vagrant, or you shall be dispatched."
That's only what he thinks he sounds like. He actually sounds like Lee's voice for him.
Oh, yeah. From now on, that's the actual voice of Chorus Vigilfish. is that voice that he has previously reserved for what he imagined Tix sounds like. Punchy McBeardface says, "Oh, well, I'm sorry I can't leave. You see, it's only fair for me to give sure leave to me companions." And he looks forward towards you, Tix, and you, Pinton, and he says, "I'm sorry that you haven't gotten a chance to see them, but why don't we say hello to my friend?" And he does something odd. He kind of makes a weird motion with his foot. You're not quite sure what happens, but something kind of ripples in his foot, almost like there's something moving underneath the skin. And then 2 hatches open at the bottom of the ship. He is at the prow. He is at the top of the world, front of the ship, a good 30 feet up. But this is at the bottom of the ship. These 2 hatches swing open, and there is a boom of fire. And out of it come walking a set of skeletons. And it's not quite fair to say you recognize them, per se. But these skeletons do seem to bear a resemblance to the various pirates that you all dispatched. In that one of them is holding a flaming scimitar. One of them has a hammer and a red cap. One of them, who would normally have a torch, actually his skeleton hand has been melted and is actually a burning torch. There is a slightly slender one that is holding 2 sickles, and another one who improbably has still a huge mustache, who has a 2-handed sword, and as each of them exit, they all catch on fire, as if they had been laden or filled with pitch, and they all begin to march toward you. And I need everyone to roll for initiative.
Well, we're boned.
Here we go. My first roll of my giant metal dice. Hold on. Oof.
All right. Lee, or Osokai, what did you get?
17.
17. And Benton.
I'm just going to remind myself whether I have a modifier. Yes, 20. Modified 20.
Fascinating. Tix, what did you get?
A 22.
Wow,
Well,
y'all are
la-di-da.
just nailing these rolls. And Morezi?
16.
16 for Morezi. That is fascinating because everybody else rolled worse than all of you. Vigil Fist actually rolled better than the bad guys, so the skeletons all attack last. Tix, it is actually your turn first. There are, as I mentioned, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4? Yeah. Skeletons marching towards you. What would you like to do? Well, one final thing I do want to mention. The chicken hut is behind y'all with both the Witch of the Lowland and the slowly recovering Skull. That is the elf woman who had been knocked out in the giant fireballs falling from the sky. She is recovering, and both of them are in the witch hut. The chicken hut, I should say.
I'm quite familiar, thank you.
Well, then I am going to do what clerics do best, hopefully, and I am going to roll to turn undead.
Turn them babies.
And hopefully turn them to dust. And that is not good. That is only a 6.
Only a 6.
Yeah.
So you feel the force.
I'm a little startled and
Flowing through you.
Hey, you all just need to stop right there. Hold it.
Just like you.
Yeah.
And you actually do feel something else, that there's a force, an effect, something that is actually giving these things shall we say, a bonus. So even though your 6 would normally not have done much, it especially does not do much.
Right.
And they continue to march forward.
It doesn't work extra.
Unperturbed. That will bring us to Penton.
All right. I'm going to slap on my mage armor. So I'm going to cast that and add +4 to my AC.
Absolutely. And you all hear that ring as the mage armor surrounds you and shimmers slightly, and you get a +4 to your armor. Is there any movement or anything else that you would like to do?
Let's see. Approximately how far are Tix and I from the the former dock.
I'm going to say that y'all are all about 50 feet away because you had come running up, and then before you could even get there, this group of adventurers had, intersected you.
Okay. That seems like a nice safe-ish distance. So I'm going to put myself a little bit behind Tix. So I'll be able to see and cast spells, but he'll be the tank for now.
It is not hard to see over Tix, and I should have asked Tix, did you want to do any movement?
Not at the moment.
That will actually bring us to Osokai. Osokai, you are off to the side. You're basically where the very beginnings of the grass that will eventually make its way into the forest meets the dock, sandy, loamy area. You've just come up from there. What would you like to do? And your boar is with you.
Okay, so the skellies are, about 70 feet away?
That's a good distance for you, yes, since you are farther away.
Well, there's really... Oh, I can charge, which will double my speed, but I will not be able to take any actions after. So that will be... No, I'll just run 30 feet onto the dock.
Okay, so you make your 30 feet towards them, and so you've kind of entered the combat arena, but that will be your action essentially. And that brings us to Merezi. Merezi, you are actually coming from the town area. If you remembered, you took some time to actually get some of the gross poo off you from your very disgusting adventure, and got a little bit cleaned up, a little bit healed up. That's when you were coming out and saw all of this going on. You first saw the flames falling from the sky, and then later you heard the crashing noise of the ship. And so you're just coming out, and you're like, whoa, okay. What would you like to do?
Run really fast and try my very best to get as close to the action as possible, but I'm pretty sure there's nothing within 30 feet of my current location that I could do as a barbarian. I don't really think there's anything for me to murder here.
That is true. You can double your speed and arrive at them this turn, but you would not be able to actually take an action this turn.
Wait, how do I double my speed again?
Just by running.
Yeah, you basically give up your action in order to run.
Well, I wasn't going to do anything anyway, so I will give up my action to run.
Okay. You, Penton, and you, Tix, just see this whoom, as Merezi comes running kind of behind you to the side, and she just comes running right up to the flaming skeletons in true barbarian style. That will actually bring it to Vigil Fist and his cohorts, and he says, "Have at thee!" And he begins to punch away, and he actually rolls 17, and I've got a few more here. Ugh, they did not do well. He actually comes forward, and he is a very pompous individual, but he does appear to know his stuff when it comes to combat. He appears to be some kind of monk, though you've never really seen an attack style like him. It's almost more like a boxer, the way he fights, but he does seem to know how to fight. He's not just all hot air. And he comes up to Captain Cinder, who's, you can actually see his head has been reattached and, just kind of bound on with some kind of metal band. And he comes up and just pop, 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 delivers a series of punches and 14 points of damage. That's a pretty good hit against Cinder. You see just bits of bone fly away, but you also hear Vigilfish kind of let out a as you see that his hands get burned because all of the skeletons are on fire.
Yeah.
So that's not to be unexpected. And he actually lucks out. He only takes 1 point of damage. And only one of his companions, a gentleman with a longsword and leather armor, manages to get hit, and he does 4 points of damage to one of the other skeletons, the one with the longsword. Okay? And that will bring it to the skeleton. They actually... The two skeletons that were engaged by those two stay to attack them. And let us see here. That is a 10 and a 9. Wow. So they both miss. But the other ones are just completely ignoring them, and they are actually marching directly towards you, Tix and Pinton. In
good.
fact, as the rules of D&D's dictate, that actually means they also get an attack of opportunity from some of the gentlemen here, and one of them does actually manage to hit and does 3 points of damage. The one with 2 sickles. But they just keep marching past them. They don't even stop. And unfortunately, that person also takes 1 point of damage. A slightly slender elf woman who goes, "Ow!" when she punches the skeleton walking by. But the other 2 are just ignoring them, and they're walking straight towards you. And they are on fire, and they are very angry looking. And that brings us all the way back down to Tix. Tix, there are 2 flaming skeletons making their way towards you.
Okay. Is Morezi directly in between me and the skeletons still?
I would not say directly. She's kind of off to the side because she was running up from the side. So she's not like directly blocking your line of sight.
Then I am going to cast Aid on her, which gives Morezi a +1 to attack and an additional 6 points, 6 hit points.
And that can flow over my hit point cap. Nice.
Making a note of that, and keep a note of that, Morezi. So you feel that, you felt that before, that force from his god flowing into you, and that will bring it to Pinton. You've got 2 flaming skeletons that are coming towards you. They are, of course, going to have to go through Tix first since he's in front,
Right.
But they are coming towards you.
Right. Since I'm not directly engaged at this point, I'm going to take a shot at the larger problem, which is the dude standing on the prow. I'm going to raise my hand, point it at the closest skeleton, and then quickly switch up and point it at the at Punchy, and let off a set of magic missiles.
And are these dragon infused?
Dragon infused. At least one of them is dragon infused.
Okay,
Because
gotcha.
there's
Go
2.
ahead.
All right, so
And
let's
roll for that.
roll up some damage. That's so 3. That's a total of 14 points of damage.
14 points of damage. You see you're very familiar with what happens when a magic missile hits a human body. It sizzles and burns like as if you have taken a hot brand and just stuck it into a human. That's not quite what you see
Yeah,
when
I was
this
wondering.
goes into this body. It's almost like there is no plastic in your world. There are certain kinds of rubber. So you do have seen rubber before, or like a bladder, and it kind of bubbles when it hits his chest. He does seem to feel it. He's not like he doesn't feel it, but he swings his eyes towards you, and his whole body just ripples, and he growls, and he says, "You'll pay for that." But
I wave back.
You did. You did assess that he is ultimately the greater threat. That is absolutely true. And Osokai, you have made your way forward.
So they're about 40 feet away now?
Yes, I would definitely say that you can close the final distance, especially the 2 skeletons who have been approaching Tix and Pinton are now within range of you in this combat round.
Well, I'm going to bring out my Morning Star, and I'm going to just full attack the closest one I can with all of my might.
Okay. The
Roaring
closest
at the
one,
same time.
The closest one is actually the one that has the improbable mustache, despite that he's the one who's on fire. If you might recall, this is the one who you threw Captain Cinder onto, and using his longsword actually cut off Captain Cinder's head. And so as you launch yourself towards him with your Morning Star, you see him, and there's a strange sort of recognition in his eyes when he sees you. And you wonder how intelligent these skeletons are, because you are aware that most skeletons are not at all intelligent. And roll to attack.
All right. Oh, that's a
Oh, okay, yeah, that is a 20. Oops, my bad.
20. That definitely hits. So give me that Morning Star damage.
Okay, there. Okay, so I got the critical and I rolled a 1, so that's 2 damage.
Perhaps it was because you were trying your best not to get the fire. What I will say is when you're using a longer weapon, I will let you make a Constitution saving throw to half the damage. And so if you want to make a Constitution saving throw, and you need to roll more than 15 total with your bonus.
I did not.
Okay, so you take 3 points of damage from fire as you swing your mace. The heat from this fire is so intense. You suspect that a large portion of this skeleton was just coated with pitch before it walked through, and the fire is incredibly intense. So you take those 3 points of damage, but you do what was the total you did? 2 points of damage?
2, yeah. I rolled a 1.
Was there
what
no
about your-
strength damage, strength bonus?
Yeah.
It's a one-handed weapon, so...
Oh, I thought you still got your strength bonus for a mace. Maybe I was mistaken.
No, that's it's only on the attack roll, isn't it? Not on
No,
damage.
that's damage as well.
That's damage as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if you remember, my house rule is that you double everything. So you
sorry.
add your damage, and then add your strength bonus, and then double it.
All right, so it was 1 plus 5, so 6. So
6
sorry,
points.
it's 1 plus 4. Sorry, so it's 5. So yeah,
So a total of 10.
yeah. All right,
Total of 10. Okay.
my bad.
That's much better than
That's a little
2.
bit better.
Yeah, and this gentleman had already taken a hit, so you actually shatter a good portion of the rib cage. His left arm actually just disintegrates under the administrations of your mace. You sense that perhaps maces are a really effective attack against old bones, and you get a really good hit in. And it is actually your turn, Marezi. Boom, 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 boom. You've been running up to these skeletons. What would you like to do?
Let's just see. What's the closest skeleton to... Wait, no. What's the skeleton that's been taking the most damage so far?
Definitely the one that Osokai has been attacking has taken 14 points of damage. Well, I should say also Captain Cinder, who has been punched by Vigilfish, has also taken 14 points of damage.
I'm gonna attack the guy that Osokai has been attacking. Let me roll now. That is a 16.
Okay, that will hit.
11 points of damage of hurting.
11 points of damage, which is a total of 24 points of damage. You do not understand how this skeleton could still be standing with the amount of damage that you just did to it. It is like you have destroyed the right side of its body as you came down with your halberd. Its right arm is missing. Its left leg is smashed, and it's sort of hopping up and down, and it's barely balancing its long sword in its remaining hand. But it is still standing, and it's almost ridiculous, but it's still coming. And it's now
Someone
time
roll
for...
to tip him over.
Yes. Just real talk. It has 1 hit point left. So I love the idea of what a skeleton with 1 hit point left looks like, and that's what I imagine.
Sorry,
So go ahead.
just a point of clarity. A halberd is a piercing or slashing weapon, so it's not going to do very much damage at all to a skeleton.
It's like half damage,
that
I think?
is. You are you are absolutely correct, and I had actually forgotten that it actually does have the total damage.
Yep.
Oh, okay, so that would be 5 damage then?
Well, you did 14 damage, right?
11.
Or no, 14 was before. I'm sorry, you did 11.
No, I did 11 points of damage,
Yeah.
I think.
So it is 5 points of damage. So you've done. So there's been 19 points of damage to the skeleton with the long sword. Still in pretty rough shape, but you do notice that your halberd just doesn't get the job done as much as you would like, because it is this bony boy that does not respond as well to that.
I think everything but my bola does slashing damage, so that sucks. Or piercing.
Well,
You could always do subdual damage. Flat of the blade subdual damage.
True.
Or just
True,
pick
it's
up a
still-
stick.
Yeah, you could also say you're hitting it with the staff part of your halberd. It will do less damage, but it will not be halved. That is also an option. But
And
that
I got
will
better
bring
bonuses on my halberd.
True. That will bring us to Vigil Fists, who is doing smashing damage with his fists and continues to attack Captain Cinder and says, "Have at thee, miscreant!" And he rolls a 5. So perhaps he's... Yes, that's right. Have at thee, or you shall die! And he is... perhaps he's trying a little too hard not to get burned, so he misses. And his 3 companions roll a 5. And the next one, the ranger does hit, and miss. So they respectively do... one of them halved. So one of them does 1 point of damage, and one of them does 8 points of damage, which is much more impressive. So that's, again, 1 hit point left on the skeleton that they are attacking. And by the way, there's an entire troop of adventurers attacking one skeleton, which is kind of hilarious, and they still can't fell it. And they've all taken damage, too, from the flames. You can see them, variously, ow, ooh, ee, ah, oh, as they're attacking these things.
Sorry, how'd that go again?
I'm sorry, I meant to say, ow, ooh, ee, ay, ooh, oh, which is my rendition of a Warner Brothers cartoon. And that will actually bring it to the skeletons. So I'm going to start with Cinder. Captain Cinder attacks Vigil Fist and actually misses with a 15 because Vigil Fist actually has some pretty good monkish type armor. And the one other rolls a 2. But the last 2, one of them is going to attack you, Merezi, and the other one is going to attack Tix. And I don't think an 11 or a 9 is going to do it, will it?
No.
No.
And they actually have bonuses. They just rolled really, really bad.
I do love your dice, sir.
Yes. It doesn't matter which one I use. I found my old one. I got my new one. They just... So, Benson,
Yes.
you did very correctly, as you said, identify... Punchy McBeardface as the potential threat. So this is what everyone sees.
Oh boy.
He looks down at all of you. His body ripples. And amorphous pseudopods, blob-like arm structures, tentacle-like except with rounded tips, just fly out of his body, but still connected to him. So imagine almost like silly putty, but very, very quick and fast. Or imagine your stretchy superhero of choice, your Mr. Fantastics or your Stretch Armstrongs, yes. Just fly out. And I would like everyone to make a dexterity saving throw.
You haven't been playing Resident Evil by any chance, have you, Michael?
He sounds like some sort of anime nightmare creature now.
Sounds like a phasm.
What am I saving against? Oh, Dex, that's right.
Yes, this is dexterity.
No,
So it's a reflex save?
Yes, reflex.
19.
19, okay.
Whereas you got a 17.
Very good.
Yeet.
Tix got a modified 4.
Woo!
Oh, dear.
Osakai rolled a 1.
Okay.
Ouch.
1.
Fortunately, which brings me up to 8.
8. Okay, gotcha. That will not quite do it. And fortunately, my roll for percentages of death only apply to attacks. So we don't have to roll that. The reason that all of you had to roll is because there are actually 6 of these pseudopods flying out. And I'm actually going to have 2 of... wow, they both rolled an 18. That's actually really good. So 2 of Vigil Fist's mates dive out of the way as these pseudopods just wham, wham, wham into the ground. But Tix and Osokai, you both are hit by them. And you both take... That is 5, 6, 7, 8... 9 points of damage. You both need to roll opposed grapple now.
Oh, that's my best. Okay.
Okay. And
All
that
right, that's-
is a 14 for Tix.
14 for Tix. And for Osokai?
That's a 23 for Osokai.
23. He actually rolled a modified 20. So Osokai, you do get hit, and you feel when you get hit by this 9 points of damage, that it is sticky. It's sticky. You just barely manage to kind of whoop back, and you actually feel some of your cloak just rip away as the pseudopod retracts. Tix,
Yes.
you are bodily lifted into the air,
There's a
and
shocker.
you begin flying back to Punchy McBeardface at a rapid pace. So you all see this happen. He just ups into the air and is flying back towards him 30 feet up on the deck. That is what is happening right now. And it is actually your turn, Tix. You are considered grappled. You can still act. You can try to get out of the grapple, or you can try to do something else.
Is he bringing me to him?
Yes. So just imagine like a fishing line. You are being reeled in by this weird, fleshy pseudopod that is bringing you back towards him.
Okay. Then I am going to grab hold of the pseudopod as I am being yanked forward and cast Inflict Moderate Wounds, which is a touch-based spell.
It is. And as a touch-based spell, I'm going to give you advantage on the roll.
Ooh.
It would be nearly impossible for you to miss. So go ahead and roll.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. That's a natural 20 and an 11. So I'll go with the natural 20.
You're going to go with the natural 20.
Yes.
Yeah, it's almost hard. It's almost impossible to miss something that is currently attached to you. It is actually, if you imagine like a wad of gum sticking to your chest, it is pulling you up towards him. As you are being pulled up towards him, you all see this, by the way. Tix, I'm going to say that you're just barely over the rim of the boat itself. So you're no longer suspended in air, per se. You are still in the air, but you're over the boat itself.
Right.
And you all see this. Punchy McBeardface's chest opens up, and it becomes a mouth, a snarling mouth that is a mass of teeth. And I would like all of you to make a perception roll, just a straight perception roll.
Don't roll that, none.
How many teeth?
What's the perception modifier again? Probably
Intelligence.
the ones I have 0. 19.
That's really good.
Mine is a modified 21.
Wow. Y'all are all very perceptive today.
I also got an 18.
Wow. Osokai?
Osokai got a modified 21.
Okay.
We see all, we know all.
Yes, exactly. Well, perhaps there's a reason.
We just don't
you
know
all
what to
will-
do with it.
Yeah.
Well, you're about to find out, because when this mouth opens, all of you suddenly see back to the pirate ship that is now smashed into this dock, and you all remember Pinton slowly walking forward to the mimic chest, and you all remember the battle that you had with the Sharkmen. And very wisely, you angled it so that one of the Sharkmen came in range of the mimic.
Right.
And the moment that happened, its front turned into a row of snarling teeth. And you recognize it as Punchy McBeardface's stomach. So you don't know what's going on here, but there is no doubt in your mind that some part of this, at least, is that treasure chest that was, as Punchy McBeardface actually put it, sometimes a mimic.
So now he's
Mimicry
Punchy
is the
Mimic
sincerest form
Beard
of flattery,
Face.
so-
Punchy McMimic face.
There you go.
Mimic big beard
Uh,
face.
And
But Tix, you saw what was happening is he was basically drawing you into that mouth.
right.
That's what was happening. But I seem to recall that you got a hit. So what was your total damage?
On that beautiful 20 critical that doubles damage, 3d8 plus 1 per level. That is 40 points of damage.
Oh my gosh. You all see this as Tix is just being drawn into the mouth of death. You don't know how much damage it will do if one of you gets drawn into that mouth, but you think it's really bad. And just as Tix is coming forward, you see his hand come up and it glows slightly with the light of his god, and he brings it down, which normally would cause it to stick to that pseudopod. But as the retribution of his god flows through it, that pseudopod turns to ash. And whereas he had 6 attacks from these before, he now has 5. And he screams, just "Roar!" And you boom, fall to the deck. You actually take no damage because you were just a few feet up. And you kind of, recover yourself.
And I don't weigh a lot.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's not much damage to take from that fall. You are very, very close to him now, by the way.
Ooh, fine.
And that will actually bring it to you, Penton. There is a skeleton coming towards you that is no longer blocked by ticks. And there is also, of course, Punchy McBeardface that is trying to kill all of you.
Okay. Is the one skeleton that's near me, is it in like melee range at this point?
Yes.
That's a bummer. All right.
Well, I'll actually allow, if you want to take a step back, you can do so without taking an attack of opportunity.
Yeah, that was my main issue.
Yeah, I will allow that because it was actually going to engage Tix, who was a few feet in front of you.
Okay, so there's like a little space
I
between
will,
him and me. All right.
Yeah. So I will allow that.
All right. So I'm gonna go scurry over to use Morezi as a wall now.
Okay.
Hey man, I have 12 hit points. I'm not taking any damage from these guys.
Yeah, and you've seen what happens when you hit them in melee range.
Exactly.
You don't think you're going to stand up too long with that.
So, using Morezi as a wall, I'm going to reload my shotgun and take another shot at Punchy Mimic Beardface with magic missiles.
This is a perfect time for me to put in a shotgun sound
exactly. Effect. Please feel free. All right, that's a good one. Double 5s. That's a total of 19 points of damage, sir.
19 points of damage. That means that y'all have done a total, of 73 points of damage to Punchy McBeardface in just a few rounds. By the way, he's still up and going. He's really, really upset, and you can tell that he is damaged, that part of his body is kind of smoking and bubbling and sort of losing cohesion slightly. But he's still up and going, and he's very, very dangerous, and he's very, very pissed. And that will actually bring us to Osokai.
How far away am I from Mr. Steven Seagal up there?
Punchy McBeardface, it is, from where you are, it's about another 20 feet to the ship, and then he's actually 30 feet up. So you could technically go through the 2 holes that opened up, but you don't know how long it would take you to make your way through whatever the bottom hold is back to the top of the ship, or you could try climbing the ship, which you are, of course, quite proficient in, but of course that would also take time.
Morezi, throw me. Hang on, guys, my
rocket booster
is playing up, so I didn't catch any of that.
Oh, it's okay. He's the ship is 20 feet away. He is 30 feet up in the air. So even if you got to the ship, you would then have to scale up 30 feet. And of course, there are still the skeletons on the ground. But he is, as the crow flies, or as the aphil flies, he is probably a total of about 30 feet, or I should say 40 feet away from you, from a straight shot, running the angle.
Pythagoras and all the rest of it.
There you go. Thank you.
But yeah, Osaka doesn't know anything about geometry, so is there? So we've hit one of these skeletons, and his arm came off. Did you say he doesn't have
the
side
one
of his body?
Yeah, the one that you hit with the mace, it just collapsed the side of his body.
Okay,
he's very badly. There are two that are very badly damaged.
Can I see his arm?
Yeah, it's laying partially shattered on the floor on the ground, still burning.
I'm going to pick it up and hit him with it.
Okay, you will take 1d6 of fire damage from picking it up.
Okay,
because there's no real safe way to pick it up, and you hit him with it, and I will give you advantage because it's awesome.
It is.
All right. So, and my dice like me today because that's a 20.
Okay. So you do take. Oh, sorry about that. You take 6 points of damage from the flame. You did pick up a flaming arm.
Yes.
Actually, I will allow something. Make a perception check for me.
Okay. That is a 17 plus 2, 19.
Okay. Just a note for later. You notice there is a ring on the hand that you're holding. Just little note there. You take this flaming arm and you smash it into the skeleton's face. What is the total damage again?
So his arm would be classified as a.
I will allow one. Yes, I would definitely allow 1d6 damage for that. A 1d8 would be pushing it for a.
Please push it.
He's
being hit with his own limb.
Yes. And unfortunately, he is not susceptible to fire damage right now by whatever way.
But it's still a club, so it still does full damage.
Still full damage.
So that's a 5 on the die. Plus my strength,
and,
which is 4, so that's 9.
9? So that is a total of 28 points of damage. He has 25 hit points. Describe to me how you destroy this skeleton with his own flaming arm.
There's a part of me inside that just wants to hit him and go glove slap. Ozukai will pick up the arm and just smack the skeleton in the face with his own arm and stop hitting yourself.
Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. What's wrong with you? Why are you hitting yourself? After you do completely destroy the skeleton, are you going to drop the arm? Because you will continue to take fire damage as long as you're holding it.
Can I quickly pocket the ring before dropping the arm?
You would need to make a dexterity save to successfully pull off the ring right now.
Okay,
you could come back to it later. Okay,
I'll
give
do
me
it
a
now.
dexterity roll.
Okay. So that's a 17 on the die. Is this a save or just a flat modified roll?
Modified roll.
Okay, so that's a 20 modified.
Okay. You nimbly just reach in, but almost between the flames, and whoop, this little ring with a some kind of reddish gem set into it comes in. Are you going to pocket it?
Yes.
Okay. You pocket it for later inspection. That was quite an interesting turn. And I also, I only allow people to have one total, though I think I missaid that. So technically, just so you remember, ticks you have 2. But I do award 1 inspiration point to you for that, for awesomeness. Inspiration can be used at any time, including a failed roll. And it basically just lets you roll again. That is my house rule for 3.5. As a way to reward cool stuff. So that will actually bring it to Marezi with her halberd. Just so you know, there's one skeleton that is very badly damaged and 2 that are not very badly damaged.
I would like to attempt to finish off the very badly damaged boy.
Okay.
All right, let's see here. That is a nat 20, baby.
Wow.
Nice.
I almost feel bad that you attacked this one because it only had 1 hit point left.
Yeah.
But
Can I use that roll for someone else?
no, I'm sorry. But just tell me, this is Captain Cinder, so he's on fire. He has a sword that's on fire. Part of his body has been partially smashed. Tell me how you destroy him with your halberd.
I think, okay, I'm not even gonna roll for damage. He's just gonna die. I absolutely demolish him by bringing my halberd between his... I absolutely demolish him by just bringing my halberd down and cutting his nasty, nasty bones in half.
Bisect him down the middle, and there's a moment where the two halves continue standing dumbly, and then the magic that holds them together is dispersed, and he just boom down to the ground. And that will bring it to Visual Fist and his cohorts. And only one of them successfully hits. He does 6 points of damage to the skeleton with the flaming red cap and a hammer. And that leaves 2 skeletons, one with the flaming red cap and the hammer. I was totally wrong. There's actually 3 skeletons left. Oops, bad me. There's the one with the red cap and the hammer. There's the one with 2 sickles that used to be a lady that I believe Merezi dispatched. And then there is also the one with the torch, whose hand is now its own flaming torch. Whose torch, Merezi, you actually possess.
Hey, sorry, wait. There were 4 skeletons.
Well, I counted wrong. There's Captain Cinder, the one with the red cap, the one with the long sword, the one with the 2 sickles, and the one with the torch. So there were actually 5 skeletons. That was actually my bad. I misread my own notes. So that was bad on me. So there were actually, and 2 of the remaining skeletons have taken damage. The red cap and the one with the sickle. The one with the torch has remained undamaged. That actually brings us to the skeletons. And currently, they are all attacking Vigilfish's crew, except the one with the torch seems to have some kind of notice of you, Merezi, and heads towards you. And he gets an 11, so that ain't gonna do it, is it? Also, Merezi, I need you to record that you have taken 3 points of fire damage from your attack. Oh, actually,
Okay.
let me roll that back. Actually, I said with a long weapon you can actually make a dexterity saving throw. So make a dexterity saving throw.
'Twas 8.
8. Okay, so you do take that 3 points of damage.
That's okay, because you have 6 bonus points.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
right.
still over
That's
my
right.
maximum health.
That is right. That is why it was so wonderful that he did so. And that actually brings us to Punchy McBeardface. Now, you would think that he is going to unleash a firestorm of vengeance upon Tix, who's done a tremendous amount of damage
I'm
to
too
him.
cute.
You would think that Penton, who has done the second most, if not the most amount of damage, that he would focus his attack on you, Penton, and utterly destroy you. But he doesn't do that. He doesn't do either of those things. What he does is he turns and he looks down and he looks at you, Osokai, and he says, "You." If you recall, you were the one who actually engaged Punchy McBeardface in battle. You were the one who not only simply ignored his attempt at doing a sweep the leg Johnny attack, but actually snapped his leg simply by bringing down your giant bear-like foot. You didn't just defeat him, you humiliated him.
Didn't he pee himself, or is that someone else?
Yeah, that was him.
I don't remember. He might have beat himself. I'd have to go back and give that a listen. But you utterly and completely defeated Punchy McBeardface. Everybody had a part in it, but it was you, Osokai.
Oh, that's right. I think Osokai roared and freaked them out, and somebody peed their pants or something. I can't remember. Exactly.
I think you did. I think actually Captain Cinder was the one who peed himself. Unfortunately, he is actually incapable of peeing himself because 1, he is a skeleton, and 2, he has just been destroyed by Merezi.
He's been dead twice.
Yes, he is, as they say in the business, soup's dead. He is going to launch a massive attack against you, Osokai. And I would like you to make 5, thanks to Tix, 5 dexterity saving throws.
Okay. This is my best. It's my best skill, so that is a 15 on the die. So is it reflex or just flat dex?
Reflex saving throw, sorry.
Okay, so
I say dex sometimes because I forget.
That's 22 for the first one.
Mm-hmm.
That's 22 for the second one.
Nice.
That's 20 for the third.
Amazing.
19 for the fourth.
Wow.
Golly.
One more.
And 16 for the last one.
So the last one actually does make contact, and you take 6 points of damage from that, and I need you to do an opposed grapple. He does not roll very well on that.
6 points. Okay.
Yes, 6 points of damage, and an opposed grapple, if you will. Basically, if you roll anything but a 1, you're probably going to...
Sorry, just readjusting. 6, brings me down to 12 hit points, guys. Come on, get your act together.
Yeah. Well, this is a big battle. This is a boss battle. This ain't no wussy battle.
All right. So an opposed grapple.
Hmm.
Osokai was built to grapple, so he doesn't really know what he's getting into. Oh, hello. That's a 19 on the die plus 8, so that's 27.
Oof. 27. So it does smash, it kind of whacks you across the face, and it tries to grapple with you, and you actually feel some of your beard get ripped out as it yoinks backwards.
I'm
you
pissed
all...
now.
Oh, yeah. It hurts. It
makes
really
sense.
hurts. And by the way, you all see this. It's actually really awesome because anime style, not that kind of anime style, get your head out of the gutter. I'm saying anime style as far as the things coming at the camera. You see these these 5 pseudopods just wham, 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 wham into the ground, and the remaining docks just shatter near his feet. And Osokai just ducks and weaves out of the way. The last one manages to crack him across the face, but even that, as it tries to retract, he rolls out of the way, and you see some dark black beard just come up with it. And that hurt quite a lot, that coming off. But you do successfully do it, and he has completely ignored, thanks to that, both Tix and Benton, who he was originally going to attack.
Thanks, buddy.
That's a cool explanation, and it was very interesting to listen to, but I kind of stopped listening after you implied that Punchy McVeeredface could be a great anime love interest.
Yeah, well, don't worry. The Chafing Armor wiki is now going to be full of fanfic stories of Punchy McVeeredface and Osokai.
Mostly written by me.
I just got this.
Yes.
Osokai-kun. No.
It's forbidden. We are enemies. We can't. We must.
Punchy-chan, but we must.
And the podcast is over, people. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for
Good night,
playing.
everybody.
I got my sketchbook out right now.
Oh, wow.
Oh no. Next pseudopod comes down with a bouquet of flowers on it.
The next fight scene is censored, guys.
Tix is
They're
feeling
just
awkward,
wrestling.
and wanting to get away from Osokai in such a bad way.
With all of that, you hear a loud voice call out to all of you. It's actually from behind all of you. You hear a loud voice call out from the area of the chicken hut. You hear a voice call out, "Stop!" And I assume that you all glance back in one way or another. And
Yes.
you see poking out of the front of the chicken hut is actually Skull. And Skull has a wicked-looking knife pressed to her neck. holding the knife to her is the Witch of the Lowland.
What?
Except, one little thing is that the skin of the Witch of the Lowlands is beginning to slough off,
You have a hag.
revealing the fleshless skin underneath. You might recall that one hag who had been captured by Osokai, had escaped while y'all were on the island. And Osokai particularly knows that this hag, in its natural state, actually has no skin. And it says, "All of you stop, or the elf bitch dies." And that ends Chafing Armor, episode 53. We stop in mid-battle, and we stop with strange revelations, and we stop with very uncomfortable feelings about Punchy McBeardface and Osokai.
You might be
And we
uncomfortable.
will-
I'm fine with this.
This is going to take a whole new adventure, and we will return with more combat fun, and soon we will roll with you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Oh.